What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Galaxy Queen Star. I don't know if y'all can hear it in my voice, but I'm pretty disappointed in this battle. This is RUM NITTY versus Shotgun SUGE. This was a really highly anticipated battle, and I feel like they both dropped the ball. Alright, so let's get right into it. Okay, so for the first round, SUGE starts off first. He say something like, I asked for top shelf, you gave me rum. He say that to Smack in the battle. You know, I thought that was kind of fire. I chopped that bar a little bit. Then he say something like, let's get down to the nitty gritty. I outweigh him by 250. And then he going in and then. Then he says something like, I drop your niece off at the R. Kelly show. I throw 30 rocks at the studio. You know, he going in, you know, so, and then he winds up dunking on NITTY again. You know, so you know how SUGE is. He's a bully on stage, okay? He was in his bag. He was doing his thing. I really did like his first round a lot, okay? He had a lot of energy. You know, he was just a big bad wolf on stage like he always is. Alright, so I was pretty impressed. He did a good job, Shotgun SUGE. So now we're going to go into NITTY's first round. So the first round he goes, let's get one thing straight. Your vital signs, he said. Then he say something like, something about the masses didn't even believe you was going to win. You was gonna win. Not even a little shotgun, a little 10, he says. You know, I guess a little shotgun has 10 bullets in it. Then, you know, he was like, you be all dancing in the videos. SUGE was the soft. He was basically saying, you know, when he had the battle between him and New Jersey Twerk, how SUGE was on Twerk's side. So then he goes to say, you know, you be dancing all in the videos. SUGE was the source of the problem. Now, remember back in the days when SUGE from, what's that label he had? You know, SUGE's label. Damn, I forget the label, but, you know, he had Tupac and, you know, Snoop Dogg and all of them on his label. Okay, so Death Row. Death Row was his label. So SUGE at the time, remember when he said when they went to the awards show, he was talking about P. Diddy, oh, how P. Diddy is all up in the videos, da-da-da-da. So that's where he get that bar from. Then he say something else like, silencer, that shit didn't even whistle, Timid Hill, you know, so... Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Geechee come out the crowd and dunks on SUGE. So that, you know, everybody explodes when that happened. And then NITTY winds up tapping SUGE's pockets. So both of their first rounds was fire. Both rounds was really fire, but I do believe that RUM NITTY had, you know, better bars than SUGE did. I think RUM NITTY did a little better. So I edged the first round to RUM NITTY. You know, I can't get every single bar down. You know what I'm saying? I have to listen in. This is just a brief recap. All right, so now we're going to go to round 2. So SUGE starts. Okay, he was saying something like, I'll be all up in LA, the SIG firing, you know, 6 hours a gun. Okay, he just basically had a bunch of gun bars, It's like he was basically trying to out gun bar RUM NITTY, it seems, because he know RUM NITTY is good for being the gun line king. He calls himself the gun line king. So he was just gun bar after gun bar after gun bar, Shotgun SUGE, but the crowd was feeling him. So he was still pretty good in the second round. Then here come RUM NITTY. RUM NITTY was saying something like, can we get a silencer for Shotgun? No Country for Old Men. So I remember that movie, No Country for Old Men. Okay, it was a silencer and everything. So then he said something else about couple tricks in the arsenal. You don't know Shotgun. So everybody know that situation about Arsenal, the battle rapper, talking about he didn't know Shotgun SUGE, but RUM NITTY in this bar kind of flipped that bar a little bit. Okay, so then he was saying something like 20% of your brain pour out like Frank Lucas. You know, he said, talk about, then he was actually talking about, you had some real talk in this round, talking about how SUGE came to Watts. You know, Watts is a part of LA, and how he got his pockets tapped by the goons up in Watts. You know, so NITTY had a good second round too. So both of their first and second rounds were pretty good. Both of their first and second rounds was good. The second round, The second round, to me, is a tie, but I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna edge it to Rum Nitty. That second round, I'm gonna edge it to Rum Nitty. So now we're gonna go to round 3. Okay, so round 3, Suge goes first. He was talking about how Rum Nitty switched cliques. You know, he used to be Team Hami and all these other cliques that he was in. Now he's Crip and all this. So he was like, you switch cliques, you set tripping, he says. And then he was like talking to Geechee Gotti. He was like, the real Gotti would have killed him for switching families. That was fire. You know, a lot of people was fucking with him on that bar. You know, so then out of nowhere, he starts like really stumbling, Shotgun Suge. You know, I could tell that he was starting to forget his bars. So then when he starts stumbling, he's trying to clean it up. So he's like, what's your life like? What's your life like? Then he goes into that, you know. So then he was saying, while he was beating on his girl, I was beating on his girl, you know. So people was laughing when he said that. And then he said a few bars of what's your life like. And then he had this long pause. And people were like, come on, you know, encouraging Suge to keep it going. And he had this long pause. He started thinking, like he thinking about the next bar. And then he just jerseys out. So I'm like, oh, God. But he was getting there. You know, I could tell that his round was, you know, getting good. So then I'm thinking, okay, well, Rum Nitty, he's going to clearly take the third because Suge had a long, like a stumble and a long choke. So, of course, Rum Nitty's going to take the third. So, to my surprise, Rum Nitty starts, he say silencer, just a little Dre Dennis. And he starts saying some bars here and there. And he didn't choke, but he literally stopped after like 3 or 4 bars, y'all. I couldn't believe it. Rum Nitty did not choke. But he had a he had like the shortest third round I've ever seen, it seems. You know, so I was very disappointed in Rum Nitty's third round because he could have easily took it from Suge. You know, so I really don't even know who to give the third round to because Suge had a long choke and a stumble, but Rum Nitty just had a very short round. So it's kind of hard to judge this battle, you know what I mean? So all I could say is that I give the first 2 rounds to Rum Nitty. So I guess Rum Nitty won the battle, you know what I'm saying? I give the first 2 rounds to Rum Nitty, you know, but it's kind of hard to judge this battle. I'm really disappointed. You know, I feel like Rum Nitty could have easily came with it in the third, knowing that Suge choke and stumble in the third. Why couldn't you just clear out, you know, just go out with a bang? You know, so it was real short, y'all. But I still give it to Rum Nitty, at least two. You know, 2. He won the first 2 rounds. I don't give nobody the third round. They both lost the third round to me. Alright, so I'll be back with my last recap. The last one should be Arsenal versus Geechee Gotti. I'm very excited for this one. So stay tuned, and I'll see y'all later.